We would like to take a minute to discuss the Crosslay change that will be taking place with all trucks during annual pump and hose testing, which begins this week. The yellow 200-foot triple load paired with the Elkhart SM20 automatic nozzle on the number 2 Crosslay will be replaced with a white 200-foot triple load paired with an Elkhart fixed gallonage nozzle. The color change is made for 2 reasons. The first reason is putting different colored hose on different Crosslays may increase effectiveness in the event of a firefighter rescue. For example, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Captain Spade off of engine 201. I am trapped under debris and on the white fire hose. The second reason is that the pump panel valve colors will now match the hose lines, making accountability easier. Yellow hose is the number 1 Crosslay, white hose on the number 2 Crosslay, and green 2.5-inch hose on the 3rd Crosslay, all of which will coincide with the pump panel valve colors. This will also make it easier for the pump operator to identify which line to charge or which hose line needs a pressure adjustment. Now let's talk about the difference in construction between the new white hose and our current yellow hose and why that matters on the fire ground. Both hoses are 1 3/4 inches and weigh approximately 19 pounds per 50-foot section. However, the current yellow Pond Conquest hose is designed to minimize friction loss. The new white Pond Gladiator hose is designed to be kink resistant at lower pressures. As firefighters, this just means that Gladiator hose will kink less than Conquest hose at lower pressures. However, it will suffer greater friction loss as water moves through the hose. Next, we will take a second to discuss the differences between the 2 types of nozzles. The SM20 is an automatic fog nozzle that is designed to give us a consistent hose stream and reach with water flow ranging from 60 to 220 GPM. This is accomplished by a spring that runs the length of the nozzle that acts much like a thumb over a garden hose. As volume is increased, the spring compresses, making more room for water to exit the discharge opening. The benefit of this is at low pressure, we can still get good reach with our hose stream. The downside is because the reach is still good at low pressure, the only indicators that we do not have enough water are fire conditions are not improving and the hose may be soft. The Chief 160 at 50 nozzle is a fixed gallonage fog nozzle that is designed to be ran at 160 GPM at 50 psi nozzle pressure. There is no spring in the nozzle to compensate for lower pressures. There are many benefits to this new nozzle. First, it is much simpler design. Second, it is much easier to identify when nozzle pressure is too low because the water stream will be inadequate and not have the proper reach. Lastly, because it operates at lower pressures, it is easier to operate. Now let's talk hydraulics. The new Chief nozzle is designed to get us 160 GPM at 50 psi nozzle pressure. If it were to clog, or the firefighter chooses, the fog nozzle can be removed and it can be operated at 160 GPM smooth bore at 50 psi nozzle pressure. This means no pressure change when needed when switching between fog and smooth bore. When pumped properly, the GPM and operation are essentially the same. The only difference the user should notice is reduced effort when using the Chief nozzle. Lastly, just a few things to think about. The new nozzle and hose are considered a system and designed to be ran together. If the Fire Chief nozzle is put on the old Conquest hose, it will kink very easily and give you a poor stream. Run the old nozzle on the old Conquest hose and the new nozzle only on the new Gladiator hose. We no longer advocate just bleeding the air out of the line. It should be flowed and flushed for at least 10 to 15 seconds to allow the engineer time to set an accurate flow pressure. The operations page has a review of a near miss on a trailer fire we had last year where 2 lines became clogged with debris. Just as we flush a hydrant, we should also flush a line during this 10-second flow to remove any small pebbles that may have got through the line. If this does not fix our stream, Removing the fog nozzle and running a smooth bore is our next progression. Disclaimer: through extensive flow testing, we have found that the chief nozzle flows closer to 151 to 153 GPM at 50 psi nozzle pressure than the previously discussed 160 GPM. Each generation of truck is plumbed slightly differently, which can cause variances in the displayed versus the actual pump discharge pressure. For this reason, it is important that you train on your specific truck. If your water stream looks inadequate, increase your pressure 5 to 10 psi.